Hey, in this video, we're going to go through the upload and prep for a Zoho survey. All right, first thing we're going to need is three different things. We're going to need an output of the actual survey itself, so we can see what the survey looked like for the end user. This is going to help us a lot in that prep stage. Next thing we're going to need is a question type crosswalk or a question type list that you create. Pretty much you go and put down every single question that you put in your survey, and then put down the question type that Zoho called that question. All right, so this question was called a contact information in Zoho. This question was a multiple choice, one answer, etc. So we need to know what the question type is in Zoho for each one of our questions. And the reason we need to know that is because we will be using that question type to figure out what question type we will select in the software. So for example, the contact information one, which we just saw, is called a text box in VizualSurvey, or a multiple choice one answer is called a single response in VizualSurvey. So the process is going through each one of these, looking at the question type for that question, go into the knowledge base, picking the Zoho upload and prep article, and picking the VizualSurvey question type that correlates to it. And then you have the new question number, which is single groups, which we'll talk about, and then any notes. All right, so everything will be here in the knowledge base, and of course, this video. So you'll have everything that you need at that point. All right, so first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and upload the data. You can either browse the file here, or you can go ahead and find it in your file explorer and just click and drag it in here, which is what I'm going to do on my end. All right, so I'll grab it and I'm just going to drag it right here. And then it's going to start uploading. Now I'm just going to pull up the data just so you can see what it looks like. All right, so this is, you can, there's multiple ways of exporting data in Zoho, but here we have just one column, or one header, which is good, nice and clean. In this export, we didn't get a respondent ID, which we need. So we're going to go ahead and add that in the upload stage, but just make sure that either your Excel file or CSV file has a respondent ID, and if not, then we need to add one in the software. All right, so there we go. We got it uploaded. We're going to add a respondent ID because we need it for our software or for the workflow. So we just go to Action, Add Respondent ID, and we need this because we're going to be counting distinct respondents. So we need an ID, a unique ID, in order to do that. All right, another thing on the upload screen is once we create this entire workflow, you can always come back to this upload screen and refresh the file by just putting the new file here, and then go to step 5, which is preview data, export it, connect it back to your dashboard, and then you're good to go. So you can always upload or refresh a new file anytime you want. Okay. So once this is done uploading, or once this is done adding the question ID or the respondent ID, you'll get a new column with all of the different respondent IDs for each row, which is really just a row count. And we're going to use that in the next step, which is prep data. So that's all you got to do on this one. All right, prep data screen. Just to give you a little overview, we got the data preview over here. You can filter it here if you like. You can also preview each one of these columns by clicking on the row ID here, and it'll give you a preview, which you'll see I'll be using. We got the respondent ID. If you already had a respondent ID in your data, you didn't need to use that action. Then you just select which one it is. Because like I said, we need to count. You got the select field, which is used with the actions, which we'll go through. You got filters. Anything you select here will be a filter in your dashboard. All right, here we have the column names. This is all of our columns in the data file. You can change your column names here, but normally I do that in the clean data step. Next, we got our new question numbers. This is how you group columns together into the same question. For example, the multiple choice and the matrix type questions, you have multiple columns that make up that question. And we'll be giving those the same question number in order to tell the software that those are the same question and group all those columns together. And finally, we have the question type. This is going to format those columns in a certain way, as well as tell the dashboard what visualization is going to be shown. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by getting rid of some of these columns. Some of these columns we don't want. This is the first name, last name, etc. I only want the company and the zip code in this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all these because I don't care about visualizing any of these information. I could use these as filters if I want, but I don't want them. So I just want company and zip code, and I'm going to select the rest of these and get rid of them. Now with the hide, all you're doing is just hiding them. You're not actually deleting them. So you can always go back and bring them back in here by doing see hidden questions and bringing it back in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and preview it. So this is the company, and how we're going to do this is we're going to look at the survey, which is here. Look at the survey, what it looks like, then go into the question type list that we built and see what the question type is, which this one is contact information. And then we'll go into the knowledge base article, see what contact information is, see what VizualSurvey has for the question type, which is text box, and if it's a new question number, single or group, and whatever notes we have. All right, so this one, contact information, is a text box, and this is single, which just means we have one column for one question number. Okay, the next one, this one is a zip code, so this is also a single, and this is going to be a zip code question type. And I know this because it's in that knowledge base article. Like I said, you're just looking at one, looking at what it tells you to do, and put it here. All right, I'm gonna not just keep putting everything on the screen just so we can go this a little faster, but normally I look at it on another screen and just kind of work through these one by one. All right, so the next one is regions. This one is going to be called a multiple choice one answer, which is a single response in a VizualSurvey, and I know that by looking at the crosswalk. All right, birthday. This is going to be number 4. This is called a calendar, which is a date in VizualSurvey, and it's just a single. All right, when did you start to use the software? This one is a drop down. Now, this could be a date, but it's just a year, so it's really not going to recognize it. So we're going to do this one a single response. So the drop down is a single response in VizualSurvey. And once you get the hang of this, you start going pretty fast. And kind of the good thing is if you're using the same software over and over, so if you're using Zoho all the time, then you'll be using that same crosswalk over the time. You'll be doing the same process every time, and you'll be getting a lot faster at this after a few different surveys. This one is number 6. This one is a matrix choice one answer. So this is one of them that has multiple columns which make up this question. So as you see, you have the question, and then at the end you have what the matrix row would be. So graphical presentation, database integration, and integration with website. I'll just show you that real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So here is what it looks like. Graphical presentation, database integration, integrate website, and then you have these different fields here. So all of these 1, 2, 3 columns equal this one question, and because of that, we have to give these all the same question number. So that's what I mean by you have to group the columns together that belong in the same question. All right, and this one is called a matrix choice one answer, which if you look at the crosswalk, this would be the single response matrix. All right, let's look at the next one. This one is a multiple choice mini answers, and this is also a grouping. Now, if you will see, you have multiple answers in the answer column. All right, so you see it's online mode, comma, offline mode. That means somebody can select more than one. So in this one, we need to split this out. Okay, so number 18, we need to split this out so that online, offline is in a different column, okay? Because we can't have them in the same column or else this count is going to be all jacked up. right, so what we're going to do is we're going to select this. So we did select this one here, and we're going to go to split or action and then split. And then we're going to pick our delimiter, which is a comma. Now this big red text here is saying make sure you don't have a comma somewhere in your answer choice. So if you have, if one of your answers have a comma in it, then you're going to have to go and remove that comma from this answer choice in the data, or else it's going to split it by that comma also. So you want to make sure whatever your delimiter is, you do not have that in your answer choice. So let's go ahead and split this, and you'll see it then makes two different columns. So you got 18 and 18 twice, and you see now it's split, and now that's going to give us the right count. All right, so that's number 7. And this is going to be a multiple choice. And all this is explained in the knowledge base as well. All right, let's go ahead and look at the next one. You see this one has the same thing, right? This is easy to use, satisfied. Yep, there it goes again. But this is a little different because this is a matrix with multiple answers in the column. So this has multiple columns as well as multiple answers in the columns, which is okay. All we got to do is we're going to select all of these and split them. Okay, so let's go ahead first and give all of these a question number. So these are all going to be number 8, and it's going to stop here because as you see, this is a different question. And this is going to be a multiple choice matrix. This is called a multiple choice mini answers in Zoho. So this is going to be a multiple choice matrix looking at the crosswalk. Then we need to split this. This is also in the knowledge base. So when you get to this question, you'll know. Or this question type, you'll know. So we select all of them because we can do them all at once. Go ahead and split it by a comma as well, making sure there's no commas in our answer options. And it's going to split it if it needs to. And you'll see we now have a lot more columns. They're all number 8. They're all multiple choice matrix. We could just go through and look at it just to make sure there's only one answer per column, which is good, and we're good to go. So now that's going to count correctly. All right, next one here. All right, this one is called a image type, which in VizualSurvey is a single response. That's all we do there. This one is a rating scale. All right, this is going to be number 10. You got two options here. You can either do a single response, which will just do a bar chart and a count of each of these answers, or you could do numeric, which will give you like an average of those answers. Okay, I'm going to do numeric for this one, but you could do either or. It just depends on what chart you want to show or how you want to show this. All right, next one is a star rating. Same thing here. This can be either one since these are numbers. I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to do a single response on this one. So I'm going to see a bar chart here instead. All right, 12, this likelihood you'd recommend. This is actually a special type called an NPS. So this is going to be its own question, and we have a special question type for this one called Net Promoter Score. All right, so now we kind of breeze through these. These will get easy. The matrix ones are the only one that, a little complicated, and the multiple choice ones. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. But once you do a couple of matrix ones, it's the same thing every time. All right, so this one, number 13, is called a slider scale. This one could be, once again, single response or numeric because they're numbers. I'm going to do single response. All right, next one is a matrix rating scale. So it's a matrix, so you're not going to have more than one column to group. So let's go ahead and group them, and you can kind of tell by the first part is the same for all of these. So we know it's these 3. We also look at the preview and also our survey. This is a number 14, so this is matrix rating scale, which is a single response matrix. All right, next one here. This one also, you see, it's you can kind of just tell this one has the same text. So this one is a matrix star rating scale. So this is going to be the same number because this is all one question. And this is also going to be a single response matrix. And in this this process, I'm doing every single question type in Zoho. More than likely, you're just going to have a handful of these, so you're not going to have to do all these. You're probably going to do the same ones over and over. But I just want to make sure I covered every single one, just in case. Okay. So next one is, this is a single line. This is going to be just a text box, open-ended type question. All right. Next one. This one is a multiple line. Same thing. This is just a text box, open-ended again. All right, this one is called a ranking. The ranking one is going to be a grouped. You see, we'll kind of tell all of these are the same. So let's go ahead and group these all together. All right, and this is going to be a ranking in VizualSurvey as well. And the last one, let's take a look. This one is a little different. You see, we have the question text in the beginning. And then we have part of the answer here, and then we have two different parts of the answers here. We'll clean all that up in the next step. But right now, all we got to do is give these the same number. And this one is called matrix dropdown in Zoho, and we also have a matrix dropdown here. All right, final thing we're going to do is pick our filters. So whatever we pick here as a filter is going to show up in the dashboard. So we just select here. Type in what the header is going to be called. We have this option here where if we only want to show this as a filter and not as a visualization, we can pick this, and that won't show it as a visualization, but it will just be a filter. Okay. But I want to show it on both a filter and a visualization. And we just go through and pick all the ones we got as filter, or we want as filters. I'm just going to pick a few. All right, there we go. All right, that is it for the prep data. Next, we're going to go into the cleaning, and I'll see you in that next video.